Hello and welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines, the semi-regularly updated show where I give you a brief rundown of the history and lore behind some of Mario's iconic and not so iconic enemies. Today, we're taking a look at a prehistoric era of Mario's history and the enemy that, for my money, sort of defined it, the Rex. So let's jump back in time and go behind enemy lines. We can't really talk about the Rex properly without first talking about the sort of dinosaur era of Mario. There was a time in the late 80s to early 90s that Nintendo seemed to be pivoting in this direction, sort of feeling out the possibility of attaching dinosaurs to the identity of the series versus the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, it made sense. Dinosaurs were all the rage back then, and what kid doesn't like dinosaurs? I know I certainly was obsessed with them, ask my parents. After Super Mario Bros. 3 sent the NES off with a bang and the series was breaking into the handheld market with the Game Boy, it was time to shake up the setting with something new. So when Super Mario World released in 1990, it didn't take place in the Mushroom Kingdom at all. No, it took place in an entirely new world altogether. It took place in Dinosaur Land. If we take a look at the instruction booklet for Super Mario World, we learn that after the events of Super Mario Bros. 3, the gang decided to vacation in Dinosaur Land. It's not long before the princess is kidnapped, Mario and Luigi meet a dinosaur named Yoshi, and adventure ensues. Enter the Rex. I don't know about you, but I think of the Rex as the kind of identifying enemy of Super Mario World. Not only because they're so visually different from the standards like the Goomba, which were retroactively named Galoombas in this game, or the Koopa Troopa, but they shake up the gameplay mechanically from what we're used to. When you first encounter a Rex, you'll jump on its head, fully expecting it to go down just like most of the other enemies you've faced up to that point. But instead, the Rex's body is somehow malleable. One stomp merely squishes and contorts its body, making it a smaller and faster target in the process. Mario will have to double back for another stomp and potentially put himself in harm's way again to finally take the Rex out. This may seem like a small gameplay change, and it is admittedly a little bit derpy and goofy, but try to put yourself back in 1990 before Mario enemies had ever behaved like this. It's kind of a cool surprise. Now, you probably don't need me to explain to you that the Rex is named after a T-Rex, but the Rex seems to be related in at least some way to Yoshi, who, as we know, belongs to a dinosaur species called Yoshisaur. Their physical features are almost exactly the same, save for some spikes and some small wings on their back, despite them being apparently flightless. They've got the same head structure, they wear shoes on their feet just like Yoshi's do, which probably puts Boshi from Super Mario RPG somewhere in the middle of that weird dino gene pool, but let's save that for another episode. Rexes hatch from eggs just like Yoshi's, as evidenced in this moment from the obscure Japanese Terabiko game called Super Mario World Mario to Yoshi no Bokenland. Ever hear of that one? They even exhibit a variety of coloration, as evidenced in their sporadic appearances in the Super Mario World animated series, again, a lot like Yoshi's. There's no doubt about it. Rexes and Yoshis are both branches of the same family tree, which kind of makes it an act of violent cannibalism every time you force Yoshi to eat one. You monster. Now, it didn't take long for Nintendo to basically abandon Dinosaur Land as a concept and bounce back to the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, Yoshi's Island is technically part of Dinosaur Land, and let's not forget that the first Yoshi's Island game is Super Mario World 2, but even Yoshi games have kind of taken on a life of their own and haven't involved Rexes at all. We did see Rexes appear as enemies in the Mario and Luigi series, both in their regular and shroobified forms, and it was admittedly a pleasant surprise to see them pop up in Super Princess Peach. But honestly, as sad as it makes me to say it, Nintendo has more or less put the Rex on ice. Literally. I mean, even in the Super Mario Minecraft collaboration, the zombie pigman skin was originally represented by a Rex. But then the Nether update hit, zombie pigmen became zombie piglins, and they had a pom-pom skin. And the Rex was, once again, extinct. Of course, a Rex popped up in Super Mario Kun because what didn't pop up in Super Mario Kun, but I think there's something genuinely charming about having more dinosaurs represented in Mario. I mean, Fossil Falls in Super Mario Odyssey was such a breath of fresh air, and I think we all lost our minds the first time we captured the T-Rex in that game. And I mean, tell me it wouldn't be so cool to play a new Mario game where we go back to Dinosaur Land and contend with some of those derpy dinos one more time. Hey, thank you so much for checking out another episode of Behind Enemy Lines. If you like what I'm doing here and you want to see more, consider liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. It really means the world to me that y'all support these weird little videos that I make. And if there's a Mario enemy you'd like to see me cover, leave me a comment below. And don't worry, nothing is too obscure. I've got a ton of Mario enemies queued up to do episodes of Behind Enemy Lines, but did you know that there's actually a way you can get your suggestion bumped up to the top of the queue? That's right, it's patreon.com/allinpodcast, where our Golden Banana and Triforce tier patrons were able to vote this very episode into existence. There's a link in the video description if you'd like to check out our tiers and join their ranks. None of what we do is possible without these fine folks and their amazing support. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.